Canada, Italy. Yes. Fede, Aaron, welcome, welcome. As we're coming in, say hello. Let me know where you're from. And those that are usually in my calls, I usually don't ask that, but I think we have a really diverse group today. But you can also put in the comments, hey, Molly, I might need you today, lady. Molly is one of the beautiful guides in our community. And sh if you don't know Molly McGeever already, she's just such a gift to our creative community in general. When I say creative community, I mean this world. Hey, Lynn. Hi, Carrie. Welcome, welcome. As you're coming in, say hello, Ukraine. My son, who is in third grade, has a new Ukrainian friend, and he's just learning English. His family was moved here, and it has been such a joy to get to know his family. And we like use a translator every morning. He got to say the Pledge of Allegiance one day, and she didn't realize what was going on, so I had to translate for her that it was a privilege and that he wasn't getting called to the office because he was in trouble. It was such a sweet moment. Okay, I have a lot to cover with you all today. Um, those of you who know me, I share all. I share my heart. I share everything that I've learned in hopes that it will be valuable to you as well. So we're going to cram a bunch in today. Um, and what I'm going to teach today is something that I didn't realize was super unique and valuable. So that's why we're doing this workshop. And because we're closing the creative mentorship this Sunday until next year. So I thought it'd be a great time to teach you something that's really important to creative growth and let you know that there's an opportunity that we want to let you know. Okay, so let's see here. Was there any questions? My camera's off. Oh, good. Because you're cozying up to bed. This is going to be a perfect little nightcap, I promise. We'll try to make it as relaxed as possible. Poland. Haley didn't have time for a shower, but Mac did. Zurich. Welcome, welcome. Okay. It's 11:03. We'll give everyone 2 more minutes. As you're coming in, say hello, where you're from, and if you have anything, Indiana. Oh, I knew that already, Angela. I'm from Indiana. I don't live there now, but that's where I'm from. If there's something in particular that you were really hoping that I'd hit on today, feel free to put that in the comments. I'm going to hit on a lot, and if I don't hit on something in particular, on Friday we'll meet again for a Q&A. Wisconsin, Atlanta, hello, hello. All right, pretty soon here I'm going to share my screen. And for those of you who don't know, I am pretty new at all of this, and my tech skills are subpar. So just warning you. We'll do our best, and we'll leave you here with as much impactful information as we can provide or as I can provide. I don't like showing up to workshops or courses, giving my time, and then leaving with fluff. I want you all to leave with something that will grow yourself, your business, and provide opportunities. So I promise to do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Molly, if you could keep track of any questions, could you do that for me? And then at the end, if we have time, you can just read them off to me. Sound good?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, can you all see the presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you, Annalie. Thank you, Sherry. Okay, so welcome to Brush to Brand. I thought that this name was perfect because we start with either a brush on Procreate or a traditional analog paintbrush or whatever it is, but we start with this creative skill set, or we hope to build this creative skill set. But what do we do next to actually create income from it? So I just thought it was really fun play on words, brush to brand, because yes, we can be creative, but how can we make income to have a lifestyle that we actually love, that supports being present for our kids or our grandkids, still living a joyful life, but and then maybe not wanting to work full time, whatever position we're at. How do we actually create income from this like creative drive that was put into us? Sorry, one second. Didn't I talk about tech things? They're telling me that our group was so large that I need to buy a bigger plan.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Excuse me for a minute, ladies, why I buy a bigger plan. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Sorry, I think it just takes a moment. I'm hoping. Okay. Because it wasn't letting anyone else in. That's a good thing, right, ladies?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Oh my goodness. All right, Molly, can everyone still see my screen okay? The brush to brand first slide? Yes. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about starting to attract your dream collaborations rather than chasing them. Okay, real quick, if you don't know me already, I'm Melissa Johnson. I'm a mom, watercolor artist, and surface pattern designer, and recently a creative educator. Let's see if I can move this over here. Oh, it's okay. For those of you who don't know, I actually just started to like come into myself being an artist. Around COVID, I taught myself to hand letter. And my kids were starting to need me a little bit less and less between diaper changes and snack needs and all the things. So I was finding like these little pockets of time to actually create. So I would sit at my kitchen table and I taught myself to hand letter. And then in 2022, started to learn how to watercolor and pattern design. So though I have hundreds of designs licensed now with dozens and dozens of collaborations, I want you to know that I know right where you're at because I was right where you're at in 2021, 2022. So yes, I do have a lot of experience in a short amount of time, but I can explicitly feel what you're experiencing right now. So something we're going to talk about today, and I'm sure you can relate to too, is how afraid I was to pitch and surprised and joy filled, knowing that I didn't have to. We're going to talk about why it's okay to and why I encourage you to still, but you don't have to. It's just going to give you other additional options. And by the end of this workshop, and we're going to call it a workshop because I want you to go leave here and feel equipped to make some quick, awesome edits to your Instagram, to your mindset, to your artwork that I think are going to bring you opportunities pretty quickly. And if you stay till the end, those of you who know me know I love giving things away. So today, someone that stays to the end, I'm going to give a one-on-one coaching call and a 1-year membership to our creative mentorship. I didn't even add that up, Molly. I probably should have done that. So it's probably close to $400, I would say, value. Yep. Okay, cool. So stay to the end. I think it's worth it. And then I think on Friday, because I just can't get together without giving things away, I'll do the same thing on Friday to someone who shares a picture of us getting together today or that, a piece of something that you took out of the presentation or something in your stories. Just tag me so I can see that. And then that you were part of the workshop today and that you took something from it of value. And then I will give away another coaching call and subscription for a year to the Creative Mentorship. All right. We kind of ran through this already. My story, I haven't been creating forever. I started in 2021, 2022. I didn't pursue art because I didn't think it was a viable option. Probably like many of you, we're always, I mean, we were told like the starving artist, right? So as a child, my parents would say, "Oh, great, that's a great hobby, but what are you going to do?" So I always kind of stifled the fact that I wanted to create every day, all the time. Um, and then in 2021, it kind of art pursued me when I started finding these little pockets of time that the kids weren't always needing me. So in the car pickup line or sitting at my kitchen table, I started to actually create consistently to the point that friends and family, Molly can relate to this too, started asking me to hand letter something for them or watercolor something from them. So it just kind of built upon itself, and I ended up running a pretty successful Etsy shop to the point that I should have been really excited about it, but I was overwhelmed. As a mom, and any of you who understand retail, around the holidays is when you get busiest, but it's also when you really want to be present with the people that you love. So here I had this successful Etsy shop, but I have three young children that also needed me for all the fun things and school events. And I honestly just wanted to slow down and make cranberry fragrances and, all the fun house decor things and not want to be making custom artwork. Well, I just happened to like hit that burnout point right when I learned about like this concept of surface pattern design. And like that artwork could go and land and like live in the world, and you can get paid 10, 15, 20 times for that watercolor lilac or that Procreate hand lettering that you just did, because it can land on other products, on stationery, wallpaper, um, home decor and whatnot. And my mind was blown, especially after I realized that it was something I could do because I hadn't touched an Adobe product up until 2022, basically. I think many of you can probably relate to this. So yes, you learn about surface pattern design, you actually do it, and then you're like, hooray, I can do this. Now what? What do I do with it? So that's where I was at with it. So I just started sharing my work. And this is where I want to talk about, and I'm going to take my picture off of here because that's something I'm going to talk about too, is I don't like pictures being taken of myself. I don't like showing pictures of myself, but it's something that's really going to draw others to you. Who are the people that you connect with on Instagram? Who are the people that you connect with in life in general? Do you want to look them in the eye? Do you want to know their personal story? How much deeper is your connection when you understand a little bit about them? You can see their face. So one of the things I'm really going to encourage you to do is to show your face. And I'm actually really enjoying seeing all your faces right now. But also, if you don't want to take notes, I'm going to send you the recording. If you do want to take notes, that's fine too. But I am going to send you the recording tomorrow, just so you know. Because I'm seeing some smiling faces, and then I'm seeing some very serious note takers. Just wanted to let you know in case you didn't want to. Um, let's start. I think I scrolled past. Um, okay, some important things because I didn't want to see my face anymore. But my point was, it's really important that we show our face, and that's one of the things that you can do. And we're going to talk about all these little tiny tweaks that will make a big difference on your Instagram portfolio, your website, and things like this that seem like not a big deal, but are really integral to brands and your audience connecting to you on a deeper level. So as I was saying, I was really afraid to pitch because I didn't think my artwork was to the right standard. Um, and I realized that just sharing my work intentionally, because I am a very intentional person, so I would share, I would share my work as I was creating it. But at that point, I hadn't licensed yet. So I was creating the kind of work I wanted to create. I didn't realize that until now. I was creating from my heart. I was creating the art I wanted to create. So I was starting to draw an audience of just fellow artists, but also companies. And I hadn't realized it until after the fact. And we'll talk about that, is what you put out into the world, the kind of art that you're creating, the kind of messages that you're putting out in your stories, on your website, on your when we're sending out a post with or a reel or a carousel, everything that you put out in the world, it seems a little magical and wishy-washy, but it's true. The kind of artwork and the kind of words that you put out are going to attract a certain kind of business, a certain kind of audience, or it might not attract anything if you're not really being intentional with what you're sharing. And we're going to talk a lot about that because that's going to be these little mental shifts that just totally change your strategy in organic, authentic ways. Um, so what I was saying is I was showing up just very authentically as myself, sharing my art progress as I was learning. And then what I found is that brands were starting to reach out to me because they were connecting with um, the kind of art that I was putting out there. And it was attracting the kind of businesses that I wanted to work with because it was the kind of artwork I wanted to create. And we'll talk about why it's okay to also create other kinds of artwork that maybe isn't complete in line, because when we're first starting out, it is important to try new things. Um, and we'll jump into that further too. Um, let's see here. I did want to say that initially those messages, I thought it was luck when they were landing in my direct messages. I did think that it wasn't, I definitely didn't think it was going to be something that was consistent. But what I'm finding from the consistent showing up and sharing your heart, sharing your art, I didn't mean to rhyme there, it just happened. Um, you will organically attract the right kind of opportunities. I'm going to pause for a second and look at all of you. So, why does licensing feel so hard? I think we all know, first of all, it's something unknown. We have this fear of rejection. We don't know how to actually reach the brands. And this is something that I'm going to talk about a few things that I hear in our industry that I think there should be more clarity on. I think it'd be improved community if we had more clarity on. Um, a lot of courses or teachers will give a whole list of brands, but they won't explain a little deeper what those lists can do for you or why those lists aren't even worth going after. I remember the first time that one of those lists was provided to me, I was like so excited and thought it was so amazing. And then I was like, wait, what am I going to do with this? So we're going to talk about why you searching out brands yourself is going to be so much more valuable than getting a giant list of companies to potentially work with that everyone else that received the list is also reaching out to. We're going to
Right.
talk about a lot more strategic way to work with the brands that you would love to work with and that you don't even know you want to work with yet. Okay, so also, why does it feel so difficult? Because we feel like our work isn't ready, and sometimes it's not going to be. This is the second point I want to make about what I don't think is clear enough in our industry. If you feel like your work isn't ready, share it anyways. But if there's a brand that you want to work with and you feel like your art is not in line with it yet, dig deeper. And if you really want to work with that brand, practice, study the kind of artwork that they like. Do they like line work? Do they like watercolor? Do they like detailed work? Do they like loose work? If that brand is someone that's really in line with who you are, who you want to be as an artist, you really need to take that time to dig deep because everything I tell you going forward isn't going to matter if your artwork isn't to the level it needs to be to work with that brand. But do it before you're ready. I create the artwork before you're ready because you'll never feel ready. And you have to start from somewhere. And the quickest way to learn is to create bad art. You hear that before. I'm sure you've heard that before, but you have to create bad art to create good art. And you have to do things messy before you can improve and learn. And the quickest way to learn is just to mess up a whole bunch. You'll see me do that throughout. Okay, and then this one I hear all the time. I get it from my fellow creatives, fellow students, overwhelmed with contracts and pricing. And oh, does someone want to go ahead and mute themselves?
But I completely.
There we go. No problem. Okay, so the biggest thing that I hear once we get to the point of licensing our work is the overwhelm over contracts and pricing. So that's something that we talk about in the creative mentorship, but I'm also have a surprise for the group that's here today. I'm going to send you like an initial response. If you get a direct message inquiry from a brand, I'm going to give you a couple responses to send back to them saying, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, basically. I'm really excited to work with you and talk about the details of this. I don't want it to get lost here on Instagram. So let's go ahead and move this conversation over to email. So then not only am I going to send you a couple examples of what you can use there when that does happen, because it will happen once you start applying what we learned together today. Um, I'm also going to send you a template for you to use of like a pricing guide, and you can play with it. This is a similar pricing guide to what I use. And I'm going to talk a little bit further on that too about pricing structure, because I think that's something really overwhelming. And I really wanted you to leave here feeling like very prepared, very excited to work with brands and knowing that you have everything you need. Okay, so down here we have this fear. On the other side of fear are so many opportunities that you don't even realize yet. So if we can just take that moment to take a deep breath and just jump in, just on the other side, again, there's just opportunities beyond what you have even realized yet. All right, let's do some myth busting. Did anyone ever watch that show? It was one of my favorite shows when I was growing up. Yes. Okay. Molly, should I pause for yet? Are we okay? We're doing okay?
Yeah, no questions yet. Just kind
Okay.
of commenting on what you've been saying. So, yeah, you're good to
Okay.
go for now.
Thank you, Molly.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some myth busting. Okay, pitching is the only way. And so we already know that we're here because we know that there's another option. Pitching isn't the only way. Again, I mentioned just real quick at the beginning, I don't think pitching's a bad thing. I think pitching's a great thing, but if you don't want to pitch, I've just recently started pitching, and I've licensed hundreds of designs without pitching. So it is an option not to. And I do think it's great to diversify and do both. And we're just going to really dive deep into why pitching is definitely not the only way. The next one is you need to know someone on the inside. You absolutely do not, because I did not know a soul. But I will say, once you start making relationships with brands, to really make it a priority to treat them with professionalism, with kindness, um, be have fantastic communication. Any brand that I've worked with to this point has also come back, and we've created more designs together. If you have a very professional communication, flexible communication, then you will likely have a return customer for your career. And the last one is you must have a huge following. Definitely not true. I started from zero, just like you. I do want to say that I have grown my following, and I have never had a reel go viral. It's literally been showing up, week after week, sharing my work, editing my grid when it doesn't feel consistent with where I want to move going forward. Um, there were no viral reels that got me to where I'm at, literally showing up week after week. All right. You guys want to know some secrets? The secret is there's no secrets, but we're going to get real clear. We're going to get real clear what you can do today to start attracting opportunities in a way that is in line with the business that you want to create going forward. We're going to attract opportunities instead of chasing them by making some small tweaks, maybe some larger tweaks for those of us who need to first of all, our mindset, and second of all, to our social media. I want you to know that your presence is your pitch. This one was really hard for me to wrap my head around until I realized how important it is. I want to see Molly's face. I want to see Sherry's face. I want to see Shayla's face when I'm communicating with her. If she's the one creating the artwork, I want to know your story. I want to know why you created that collection. I want to know why you created that design, why it's meaningful to you. I want to know why you started with pencil and ink, or why you love Procreate. A part of the story, there's thousands of artists. What makes your artistic voice special? And your artistic voice is special, and there's no one like you. So it's really impactful to share that. And brands want to find you. They want unique art that is going to sell their products. They love the storylines, but they also just want really great art that's elevated and perfect for them. And each one of us is going to be a good fit for different brands. That's why one of our favorite surface pattern designers always says there's room for you. There truly is. And I remember the first time I heard that, I didn't believe it. Now, 3 years as a surface designer, there's truly room for each of us because we each draw a flower differently. We each create patterns entirely differently. And that's the beauty. And each brand, some brands are going to want vibrant graphic designs, and some brands are going to want more detailed, vintage looking designs. We all will have our fit, and there's more and more opportunities growing. Okay, let's talk about the 4 pillars of licensing without pitching. I thought this 4 pillars thing was kind of fun. It was unintentional. It was meant to make me look a little more official, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the first one is presence as an art-based brand. You are your brand. Your presence is very important. A portfolio, when I say portfolio, I mean your Instagram grid. I have had 100%, 99.9% of my Instagram or of my licensing opportunities have come to me through Instagram direct messages. That's why I feel so passionate about sharing this information with you, because I know the opportunities that are out there for you. I'm going to also talk about other platforms that I've been reached out to that are opportunities, and then my students and then fellow creatives. I've heard their stories, so I'm going to talk about a couple other platforms that might be worth trying as well. We're going to talk about visibility and discoverability. That was another big mind shift that will help you. And then confidence. Confidence in our collaborations will make them email you back. If they feel like they are talking to someone that they can be confident in, that will deliver a design and a packaged product at the end that they can count on, they're going to email you back. There's some that don't if they're brand new companies and they don't have the budget, but most of the time, if you show confidence in what you're talking about, they're going to want to work with you, and they're going to continue the communication and the relationship. Okay, let's talk about presence. I know we've talked about this a couple times now, but this is first and foremost so important. You need to show up as a brand, not just an artist. Who are you? What style are you drawn to, and do you want to create and put into the world? Colors, lighting, motifs. Make sure that your style and your voice are very consistent. So if I were to go to your Instagram grid, does it feel like 30 different styles, or does it feel pretty consistent? Because when a brand comes to your Instagram grid, it'll take them 3 seconds to make the decision if they want to work with you. They're going to feel a consistency in who you are as an artist, as a brand, or they're going to feel like it's someone that's all over the place and doesn't feel like a good fit for them. We're going to talk more about that, and be very findable and clear about what you offer. We're going to dive much deeper into this, but real quickly, when someone comes to your page, is it very obvious the kind of artwork that you want to create and where you want your artwork to land? Is it so obvious? If you land on someone's page or website or whatnot, if it's not so obvious what they do, are you just going to tune out because it doesn't feel right to you, or it's not what you're like, oh, this is a waste of time. It's not what I'm looking for, because it's not concise. You really want to make sure that if someone spends that few seconds to come into your world, that it's very obvious that you're a surface pattern designer, that this is the kind of that you create children's designs, that you create home decor designs. It should take 3 seconds for another artist or a brand or an art director to decide, okay, is this artist a good fit for us? It will literally take that 3 seconds for them to start perusing or click away. All right, now we're going to talk about the quote
Hey,
unquote portfolio.
Melissa,
Yes,
have a
yes.
couple questions that have come in. Should I go ahead and ask them before you
Yes, please.
move
Yep, go ahead.
forward? Okay.
Yep.
These two are kind of related. Was it hard sharing about yourself? I struggle knowing how much to share because I tend to be more private. And then this other one kind of goes along with it. Do you separate your personal life from your art on IG? How do you do that?
I'm so glad you guys asked that. It's very hard. I think it's important to share a little bit, but keep it professional. You don't want to tell your life story on Instagram because this is your business. When I made the mental shift that that Instagram is my business storefront, I stopped looking at Instagram like a guilty pleasure when I was on it because I do take Instagram seriously. When I'm on it, I'm either supporting other artists or I'm looking for inspiration or I'm making a post and getting off to grow my business. I'm when I made that mental shift of I'm running this profile grid as my business because I want art directors to come here and find me, how would you speak to that art director? How would you speak to your creative audience? How would you speak to that brand that you want to work with? Yes, you can tell them a little bit about your family, a little bit. I would say more of that for your stories, and then keep it kind of short and sweet. You want to share those really personal things, maybe for a blog. But Instagram, if you're looking to run your business, your Instagram as a business, as I have, you're going to want to keep it, yes, personal, but also keep in mind who you're speaking to.
Have a couple more.
Go ahead.
Okay. This one, what do you do to adjust your Instagram grid to represent your work in a better way? And then I have one more after that.
Okay, I love this question. About every 6 weeks, I go back to my Instagram grid and think, okay, are these 9 to 12 squares, are they still serving the kind of work that I want to create moving forward? And if it is not serving the kind of artwork or the opportunities that I want to create moving forward, I archive them. And it's harder when you're first starting because you don't have a big body of work. But in 3 years, the amount of work that I've created consistently still shocks me to this day. So if you can just make a few minutes a day to just, pull that, keep a sketchbook next to your bed, in your vehicle, in your purse, at your kitchen table, paint when you can, your art, your process, sharing like your initial process, your flat lays when you're done with your artwork, a mock-up, and then collaborations eventually. And so then your body of work will grow to share on Instagram, and then you can archive the ones that you don't feel like you're proud of and that you don't want to draw that same kind of thing going forward. For an example, real quick, I love creating boutique designs, and that's kind of how I really launched, is doing a lot of baby boutique or children's wear designs. I still love doing those, but I feel like I've evolved as an artist, and now I really love doing like higher end home decor and wallpaper designs. So I noticed that I was really attracting more and more youth boutiques, bamboo boutiques, which there's a huge market for those designs. Well, I started to pull those off because I was getting contacted very consistently, and I really wanted to start evolving as an artist. So you just really have to go back and take the time to edit as you grow as an artist, the kind of things that you want to attract. I hope that answers the question. You think so, Molly?
Think so. It's
Okay.
great. Have a couple more that have come in. You want me to keep going or
Let's,
what
yeah,
do you
let's
think?
take, I think we're doing okay on time. Go ahead. We'll
Okay.
take them.
Okay, let's see. I work in both Photoshop with watercolor flowers and in AI, and the styles look quite different. Should I choose between the two or can I keep them both and maybe attract two different types of brands?
Oh, you're a artist after my own heart. I work in both. I worked in Illustrator only for the first 2 years, because because I learned in Illustrator basically, and I felt overwhelmed with trying um, a new platform, a new program, I should say, which is another point that I will give artists, like really get good at one platform before you move to the other, really get good at one program before you do the other. It'll really help you feel less overwhelmed. I use both, and I think there's a time and place for each, and I think it's really valuable to be able to do both because you might get a licensing inquiry for something that is more loose in watercolor where you can work in Photoshop. And then you might get another licensing opportunity where they would prefer more graphic looking designs or a full collection, which is much easier to work in Illustrator. So I think when you have grown your skill sets enough to be able to do both, I think it's really powerful. I don't think you need to choose one or the other. If you look at my work, I use both, and I'm not sure you can tell when I'm working in Photoshop or Illustrator because I use a similar color palette, similar feel. So I think you can still be consistent in your vibe, working in both. I hope that answers your question. If not, let me know.
Melissa, did you take a class to learn Photoshop or teach yourself?
A little bit of both. I did take I think Kat Cochlier. She had a watercolor Photoshop class that I took, and I took bits and pieces out, and kind of like made it my own technique. But yes, every night almost, I shut my brain down to like work stuff and I learn something, and then I'll apply it the next day. That is something I really think helps you grow more quickly, as if you like get in the mindset of learn, apply, rather than take a course, take a course, take a course. Learn something and apply it before you move on to another course or um, the next fad of whatever it is.
One more for now, then let you move on.
Sounds great.
Okay. Putting stuff on Facebook, IG, Spoonflower websites versus keeping some art in reserve for a licensing opportunity. I had a lot on Spoonflower, but took them down because companies don't want patterns that are available elsewhere.
Oh, it's a good one. You had to give me this one. This one I have mixed feelings about. Initially, I would say put it all out there because that's where you're going to find the most opportunities. And then if a company was really interested in that design, you would say, I'm happy to pull this off a Spoonflower. Actually, I just had a wallpaper company see a design that I think if you follow me, I'll typically in my stories post a design on a texture and put text over it. One, because I'm a pattern designer. I love seeing my artwork on everything. So I put text over it. But also because often a brand will be like, I love that print. Well, this was an example. A wallpaper company saw a print on a random text that I wrote and said, hey, we want this. And I said, well, hey, it's on Spoonflower. They said, no big deal. Go ahead and just take it down. So that was just last week. And then I sent them over a couple similar designs and they want those too. So that would be my argument, to put it all out there and then take it down if the opportunity arises. Because what are the chances of a brand just randomly reaching out and saying, hey, can you show me your portfolio? it's it's going to be few and far between that happens. Whereas if you're putting your artwork out on Instagram, it's going to be a lot more likely that art directors and brands that feel like your artwork's in line are going to then reach out in that situation, rather than a one-off. So that's how I feel about it. But I understand completely. If you had a really special design that you were working on for a particular company, um, and you knew it was special and a good fit, maybe keep that one from going on Spoonflower.
Melissa, maybe what we can do is we'll let you go on, so make sure you have time to cover everything because more questions are coming in. But everybody, please know that if Melissa doesn't answer in the session, that we'll be sure to go back and note your questions, and Melissa can answer them after.
Sounds
Does that
great.
sound good?
Sounds
Okay.
great. Thank you so much, Molly.
Sure.
I had a feeling this would happen. So if we don't get to them today, that's why I opened up Friday. Even though I love Fridays to go mow, I'm going to give you ladies an hour of time on Friday to answer more questions.
That's
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Yep. Let's go ahead and let's see here. We were on Pillar 2 portfolio. Um, The last part we were on was make it easy for brands to picture your work on their products. The way you do that, like I said, is you kind of go and stalk those brands that you want to work with. You look at the kind of artwork that's on their products. You see if your artwork is in line with that. And if not, you go take the Skillshare class. You go take the YouTube class. You put in the time. You elevate your artwork to that level. You start sharing that artwork, the process, the flat lay, the mock-up. When you feel like your artwork is at a level that you think is in line with that brand, you follow that brand, you comment on their work, and guess what's going to happen? Eventually, they're going to notice that you're an artist and they're going to come on your page. And when that happens, if they have a new product launch that they need artwork for, they're much more likely to reach out to you in that organic way. But I want you to do this in a very authentic way. I don't want you to be stalkerish. I want you just to like really just love on that brand if you appreciate them, and let it just happen really authentically and organically. This has happened time and time again. I love a brand, start following a brand, create artwork that I know is in line, comment on their page. They come in, they see that they have a holiday launch or a spring launch. They see artwork that's in line with what they need. They reach out, they ask for a collection or they ask for individual design, and then you have that relationship. So make it easy for brands to want to work with you. Your Instagram is your living, breathing portfolio. Pillar 3, visibility. So I love that you just brought up, I'm sorry, I forgot who asked the question, but they were talking about like Instagram and Spoonflower and website and Pinterest and Etsy and all the things, the platforms. Yes, I want you to be visible on as many that you are comfortable with. We have to make this comfortable for ourselves, or else we'll get burnt out and then it's not joyful and it's not worth it. We want to run happy, successful businesses, and we can only do so when we don't burn ourselves out. So I love Instagram. I think it is just a beautiful place for businesses and creatives to connect in a free way. It's free. I also really love Spoonflower and Pinterest because, again, you can share your artwork for free. And the reason why I love each of these is I have got licensing opportunities on mostly on Instagram. I have had businesses reach out to me on Spoonflower via my website only a few times. So when people are like investing so much time into their websites, I'm like, get a website up, make it decent looking, make it credible, but don't invest your time there. Invest your time in your Instagram. Invest your time in creating really great artwork that you're proud of. I would say your time is much more valuable in working on your Instagram and working on your skill sets as an artist than it is to make like this gorgeous website. Eventually, it's great to have a good website that really serves what you're looking to do. But right now, build your skill sets as an artist, build your Instagram profile like it's your storefront, and then eventually add things like Pinterest. You can actually feed your Instagram to go directly to your Pinterest. There's like a little check mark on each. So when you post on Instagram, it's going to Pinterest. So then you have an opportunity to feed someone back to that design on Instagram or your Spoonflower shop or your Etsy shop. So then you have this visibility opportunity again for brands to find you, or just sewists. Having a sewist, amazing sewist, find your artwork and create with your artwork. I mean, that is, I get goosebumps every time I see someone post a new picture that they've created with our fabrics or with my fabrics. Just the visibility opportunity is so powerful. I've had a phone case company reach out to me. I'll talk about that too on Etsy. Just get on as many platforms that are comfortable for you, but I would say that Instagram first and foremost. Pinterest is easy. Spoonflower eventually is some really great opportunities to gain income. And Spoonflower for just understanding like a breadth of the market, the trends. If you participate in the challenges and then you share that on Instagram, it's a really good tap on what people are buying. Spoonflower is so good about knowing what the customers are looking for right now. And you do it in your own artistic voice and share it on Instagram and feed it back to Spoonflower, growing your visibility. Want you to share your work regularly. We know this. It's difficult. Just make yourself do it. If you post something and you don't think it's your best, someone else might think it's the best thing ever. It'll grow you as an artist, as an entrepreneur, and then you, like I said, in 4 to 6 weeks, look back and edit your grid if you don't love it still, but you might love it more. I do that a lot. I realize, oh, I really like that, or oh, I really don't like that. It wasn't that great. That's why we edit every 4 to 6 weeks to see, to make sure it's in line. This one's really important, and I did not realize it until about, I don't know, 6 months ago. I started getting kind of geeky on SEO and keywords. You probably hear a lot about this, and I realized how valuable it is to use really good keywords, tags, SEO on Instagram, on your website, on Spoonflower, Pinterest, all the things, Etsy. It's really important to have a grasp of, okay, what am I going to put in Google? If you were going to buy new wallpaper or you were going to buy fabric to make a quilt, or you were going to purchase anything, what are you going to type into Instagram? What are you going to type into Google? What are you going to type into Spoonflower or Etsy? Those are the kind of words that you're going to want to put in. You're not going to want to put in Spoonflower, Etsy, or Instagram, Vivian's beautiful lily garden. Who in the world would type that into Google? No one. They're going to type in pink daisies. They're going to type in blue truck. They're going to type in girl camo. Did you guys know girl camo is trending like crazy? My 10-year-old daughter made me buy her the ugliest girl camo yesterday. But just understanding what customers are wanting to buy, what brands are wanting to buy, you want that in your Instagram bio. You want that in your Spoonflower keywords. You want that in your Etsy keywords. So I'm not just talking about, I am mainly this presentation is for Instagram, but I want you to think, make this mindset shift across the board. The more visible you can become, the more opportunities that will come to you. All right, so SEO is a big thing. It's definitely worth going back into your Spoonflower, your Etsy, your website, and making sure that you like think as a typical consumer, or think of what brands would type into Instagram to find new designs for their products. That's the kind of wording I want you to use anytime you post anything out into the internet world. All right, let's see. We have 13 minutes. We're doing okay. I think we'll have a little time at the end. So let's get through pillar 4, confidence. This is something that comes with time, but is super important too. So be ready when brands reach out to you. Like I said, if a brand reaches out to you in your direct messages, be ready to have a message ready. And like I said, I have one for you. Just say, so grateful that you reached out. Let's go ahead and move this communication over to email so that I don't miss any details. So you can either ask them for their email, which I suggest, or you can ask them to email you. I have a couple prompts for you that I'll send in the email tomorrow, and then have a simple pricing guide. This was something that I really struggle with. A lot of the artists in my group really struggle with. Um, it's not simple for several reasons to have a pricing guide. One, a lot of us are new artists, so our work should be priced for that, but also your work is valuable. So it should be priced to reflect the amount of time, experience that you've put into it. I told my mom that I was going to be on a call, and guess what? She's calling me. Okay. But also our pricing should be flexible to small brands versus large brands. So pricing becomes really complicated, and also you're really excited to initially get licensed. So you don't want to undersell yourself for those initial license, but you also don't want to push a brand away if they're also a small boutique that can only afford X dollar amount. So I'm going to give you a general pricing sheet too that I think is a good reference point for artists starting out, as well as artists that have been in the game for a few years. And just really feel confident in leading the collaboration conversation. Some larger brands will lead it well and you can just go with the flow, but a lot of times it's going to be the smaller art directors and art brands that reach out to you, or businesses that reach out to you. So just feel confident. I'm not an AI, I really don't love AI, but I do love to put, sometimes if it's something that's really important to me, I will put the message into ChatGPT and make sure it's really clean. Make sure that it makes sense, make sure that it feels professional. Before you send out important messages like that, emails, I do think it's worth just a few extra minutes to pop in ChatGPT and make sure that that you clean up your wording a little bit. Use it responsibly though, right? Okay, let's talk about expanding our reach. I touched on this a little bit. So the 3 photos that are here are all opportunities that came to me in different ways. I'll talk about Instagram. The baby boutique blanket design, I had just posted florals, like watercolor loose florals one day. And a couple minutes later, I had a direct message from a baby boutique that they wanted that floral, but they just wanted a recolor on it and they wanted it now. They wanted it stat. So I was so excited. It was a brand that I had actually been eyeing, and I've licensed probably a dozen designs with this brand now, because we've had great communication. I delivered quickly. I try to oversee expectations. So again, just want to reiterate that Instagram can be this just invaluable opportunity to share your portfolio to millions versus one email that you might spend weeks deliberating over making perfect that never gets opened versus putting out, some really pretty artwork that just really hits a brand, hits that it attracts them basically, and they want to work with you. So that first picture that's happened there. The second example, I said collaborations. I had been reached out to early on in my surface design um, career by a wallpaper company. And to be quite honest, I thought it was a scam. I said, why is this wallpaper company reaching out to me? I'm brand new. I went on their Instagram business page. I went on their website. I'm like, okay, this is legit. So luckily then I said, can we move this conversation over to email? Found out it was very legit. So I've been working with this company for a couple years. Well, another company had seen my work on their website, and then I had shared a collaboration post on Instagram. Well, this company wanted to start a wallpaper line, and they were furniture companies. So through sharing the collaboration, it gave me credibility, and I was able to launch another wallpaper collection with a brand new brand that had never done it before. So it's really important to also share collaborations. It just gives you a little more credibility once you get those, and you will get those. And my third example quickly is from Etsy. I had a phone case company. I thought it was spam because it was such a big company, reached out and said we wanted to purchase this design for our fall case covers. I went on their website. I moved it over to email because, again, I didn't think it was a legitimate message. It was a legitimate message. We'll launch in the fall. So just having your designs, again, to reaffirm, like having them on Spoonflower, on Etsy, on Instagram, will expand your reach and your opportunities. Okay, so did I already do this one, Molly? Okay, no, okay. Some big mindset shifts. From chasing, I want you to stop chasing, feeling like you need to chase opportunities. Instead, I want you to attract them by all the ways that we've talked about, by putting your best work out there, by thinking very intentionally about the artwork that you are creating, because you're going to attract the kind of businesses you want to attract when you're creating the kind of artwork when you're creating it, you're thinking, okay, I want this to land on beautiful pillows. I want this to land on high-end wallpaper, or I want to create artwork for babies because I have a baby or a grandchild. Thinking really deliberately about the kind of artwork you're creating, putting it out in Instagram, putting it on mockups will attract those very specific opportunities that you're most excited about. Okay, from waiting until you're ready to start showing up now. We've talked about this. You're not going to ever feel ready. Start now. You'll learn more quickly from your mistakes than you will from your successes. From imposter syndrome to progress over perfection. I have imposter syndrome. Sherry has imposter syndrome. Molly has imposter syndrome. We all have imposter syndrome. We have to have the mindset shift of progress over perfection. If you keep showing up when you're sitting in your car or next to your bed, or when you have a few minutes, if you keep showing up, you will be shocked the amount of progress that you make in 3 months, 6 months, a year. I would have never thought myself capable of the kind of artwork I'm creating today. All right, let's take some action. When we get off the call, I want you to, or when you have time, I want you to audit your bio and your grid. At least your 9 first squares. I'd like you to look at least your 12 first squares. Are you using searchable keywords in your bio? Does it say surface pattern designer? Does it say wallpaper? Does it say fabric? Does it say boutique designs? So if a brand or a fabric company were searching for you, could they find you easily? Okay. Does it show your best work? For now. And then guess what? You can create more better work. But the only way you're going to create more better work that you're proud of is to create more better work that you're proud of. You're going to create some really bad work in the meantime, too, I promise. Okay, does it represent the work you want to do moving forward? So if the work that you have on your portfolio right now is not the kind of work you want to create going forward, I want you to go ahead and archive that. And I want you to start really creating the artwork intentionally that you want to create going forward, that you want to land on beautiful products, stationery, wallpaper, fabric, all the things. All right, next, I want you to refine and build your online presence. Does your website, your Instagram, does it all feel consistent and portray the kind of work you want to attract? So you as an artist, it's not going to happen overnight. I didn't know what kind of artist I was going to become today, and it might shift. Again, I already see shifting. It takes time to figure out our artistic voice. There's no secret button. It's just showing up consistently that you're going to find that consistent style. But you innately are going to be attracted to certain styles. You innately are going to be attracted to certain colors. And that's what's going to make your work and your voice special and always room for you. And lastly, prepare a simple rate sheet or response for brand inquiries. Guess what? I did that for you. So you'll receive that in your inbox, but you guys can edit it. You ladies can edit it to your liking. Oh, I just had in the corner here just like an example from my profile. One, my face. I don't like showing my face. I show my face because it's a connection point. Um, your name, what you do. So surface pattern designer, I have wallpaper, textiles, pattern design. I am stuffing that space with as many keywords as I know that they're going to be searching for. And all of us are going to be a little bit different because we all kind of want some similar things, some different things. So make it to you. You can use mine as an example, but make it right for you. Okay, next steps. We might run a little bit over. Okay, so if you've loved today's workshop and you're ready to grow your skills and start attracting dream collaborations, this is an invitation to join us. I created the creative mentorship after I learned surface pattern design and just didn't know where to step next. So born was the creative mentorship, a place of community, clarity, and support. We did a internal survey a couple months ago. Had the artists do it anonymously so they could just share their hearts without me knowing who filled it out. I really wanted to learn how we could improve. But one of the artists, this is what they said. They said, since joining my work has become more cohesive, I've gained confidence through the art calls and the lessons, guest speakers, and community have helped me take myself seriously as an artist and trust my voice. I get emotional reading this, and this is like the 10th time I've read it, because this was exactly what I envisioned in creating the creative mentorship. And I'm not going to go into the details about it, but it's closing on Sunday. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to share what I've learned for Instagram, and it's just a small portion of the deliberate strategy that we take in the creative mentorship to grow opportunities for our artwork and to grow us as creatives in a healthy, joyful way and find support with guides like Molly, who are here today that I knew I could count on being here, and I didn't even ask her to be. So if you want to step forward with confidence, let's continue to build momentum with focus and support that you've been looking for. I have a feeling you've been looking for that, right? So you can stay in touch. Here's my email. I'll send you these slides and a replay. You don't have to do this alone. Thank you, Molly. I think we have time for a couple questions, and then I will do the giveaway too. I'll go ahead and stop sharing too. Okay, couple questions.
Okay, let's see. About 25 questions came in.
Oh,
So
okay, let's get through two, and then
let's
we'll cover
see.
these on Friday.
Okay, I know I was going to say Friday will be great just to go back through and cover. And a lot of these you actually covered during the course of your um, chat with us. But let me see if there's a couple that stand out. Um, this one's good. I struggle because I'm so new to creating art, so my style's all over the place as I'm learning what art I want to do. I worry that it's going to hurt my opportunities if I'm sharing things that may be different styles.
I felt that way. I still feel that way because I still feel like I'm a new artist. I have evolved quite a bit because I show up, I keep creating, and that's the only way you're going to do it. But yes, it will feel that way. But I promise you, if you keep just creating and sharing, you're going to start seeing more consistency. And I do actually think it's fantastic to try different things, but apply stuff before when you go ahead and learn it, but apply it before you jump into something new. Because if you don't apply it, you're just going to get in this learning cycle and never progress. I think it's okay to share a variety at first, and then as you start to really understand your artistic voice, it's going to be so prevalent. And I'll tell you this trick: others around you will see it first. It'll be hard for you to see, but you can ask people in your circle. Once you've been an artist for a little bit, say, is there something that you see in my work? Because a lot of times others will see something in you before you see it. One more question, and then we'll give away the prize. I want to make sure that I give everyone or value everyone's time here.
Sounds good. Last one. Do you tag companies that you're following, or do they find you organically because you have been following them?
Definitely organically. I do not tag companies unless they've pretty much asked me to or we're collaborating on something. I just try to be really respectful. I have a couple artist friends that do tag companies that they love to work with, and it's worked out. I don't do it. Um, I just try to be really respectful. And like I said, like if there's a company I really want to work with, I'll put them in my focus. I'll start studying their art. I'll start creating artwork like that. I'll make sure my feed has artwork that looks in line, a mock-up, a flat lay, a process. Then I'll start commenting on their stuff a little bit in very authentic ways. And if they pop in, it- more often than not, I'll get a little DM saying, "Hey, would you like to work together?" It works, I promise. But you have to build those skill sets. Can we hold it up there? Is that okay? You look like you were diving back in, Molly.
Oh, that's okay. There's too many to name. All great questions. So love the participation and all of your great input. And so, Melissa, I guess when we get together again on Friday, you'll be able to answer some of
Yes,
those. Will we have access to the chat so I can go back in and
yes.
okay.
I'll make sure you get access to that. We'll cover the rest of these on Friday if we haven't covered them today. Thank you so much all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and name the winner of the 1 hour one-on-one call and a 1 year a scholarship to the Creative Mentorship. Alexia Hagan, you're the winner. Oh my goodness. I again, I get goosebumps. That's just the kind of person I am because I know the impact. Actually, Corinne Lutz won, I see her on the call today. She won the 10K giveaway, and it was this. And I just know the impact that it has to just get that one-on-one time with someone that's just a couple steps ahead. And then the support of the creative mentorship for a whole year. So I know that you're gonna love it. And congratulations. One more thing that we do in the creative mentorship, and I was on the fence to do this because a lot of you have never been with us before, but we close our calls in a really special way, and I just feel like we can do that. I'm looking around the room, and I think this is something we can do. Um, so if everyone can close their eyes and put their hands on their heart and say with me, I have everything I need right here. Ladies, it's been an honor. It's been a joy. I hope that you can walk away having learned something new that will grow your business, that will grow you. I'm grateful for every one of you. I see every one of you. Well, I'm trying to see every one of you. There's a lot of squares. Um, I'm here for you, excited to grow with each of you. And I'll see you on Friday if you would like to. See you soon.